Hi everybody, I'm Whitney Tracy. This would probably be my first video that I have made just randomly talking. But I'm not randomly talking. I have a topic that I have in mind. It's cutting. Now, a lot of people out there, a lot of teens primarily, have had issues with cutting, and I was one of them. Still am to this day. But I would like to talk about other things that can be done besides cutting, and that you should talk to somebody who has what would you say, expertise on the issue, like a mental health provider, or just a close friend at first. But it is important to talk to somebody who has expertise on the situation as well as a friend. Now, I've been cutting since I was 15. I am now 20. But there are better ways out there than cutting. For example, I play guitar. Obviously, I have a lot of videos of me playing the guitar. I may not be the best guitarist out there, but it is my outlet for when I want to cut. And it's just good to have hobbies, hobbies that can help distract you from when you want to cut. Like, for example, some people say that taking a red marker, preferably not permanent, but I've used a permanent one before, use a red marker and just making slashes up and down your arm, making it look like real cuts, because the brain actually is tricked into thinking that it is real blood if you use a certain type of color, like dark red, for example. Or you can just make false cuts on your arm with the marker. Just draw them on there and color them in and make them look real. But this actually tricks the brain into thinking that they are real cuts, when in reality they aren't. Now, some people also say that that can trigger you into wanting to cut even more. For example, that has happened to me. I actually wanted to cut more because of the fact that I had false cuts on my arm and I wanted to make them look real. Another strategy is taking corn syrup and red food coloring and mixing it together and just putting it all over your arms, making it look like real blood. And that can do it, or the Halloween blood makeup can do it as well. But those are just some of the other things that you can do besides cutting. I wouldn't recommend scratching, because scratching is in the same category as self-mutilation. I have learned this through years of therapy, and it does make you want to cut worse. So don't do the scratching. And another method you could use is a rubber band. Putting it on your arm and snapping it against your skin just slightly, not a whole lot, because that'll make you want to cut worse. But just smacking yourself with it every time you feel like you want to cut, because it'll snap you out of it, literally. But just don't do it too much, because it'll leave a welt, and then you will see it and you will probably want to cut more. But just have a hobbies, like writing, drawing, bicycling, exercising, just anything that makes you particularly happy. Using a strategy that won't make you happy won't work. So if you are seeing a mental health person for this problem, tell them when they are giving you distractions that aren't working. Because if you don't tell them, they won't know. They're not mind readers. They're human just like us. But tell them, let them know when they're giving you strategies that are not working, and maybe you can come up with some different ones, like what I have been doing. Now, unfortunately, I have been cutting lately, but that's because I haven't employed my coping skills. And if you don't use your coping skills, it won't work. So use your coping skills. But just try to do everything that you can not to cut. And from personal experience, cutting has led to suicidal ideation. So, and when you're suicidal, don't cut either, obviously, because you could cut too deep. And obviously that's what you would probably want if you were suicidal. But just don't cut in general. it's not healthy. It leads to obviously worse scenarios, like getting stitches or bleeding out to the point where you can't stop. So just try not to cut as much as you can if you're addicted to it. Now, there are self-help groups online that can help you. I don't personally know any of them, but I know I've heard of them. So if you can't talk to anybody and you don't have a mental health provider, then try to go online and make sure that these sites maybe try as hard as you can to make sure that the sites are actually healthy and aren't promoting cutting, because that happens as well. But just try not to cut as much as you can, because cutting does lead to other things, like I've previously stated. So I'm Whitney. This was a topic of cutting, and peace out.